Web3. 1, 2, Web3.
Greetings, developers, hackathon participants, and metaverse architects. Welcome to another hackathon live stream, our earliest live stream of the 1-2 Web3 hackathon. I'm here today with Ali again and also Yosef of our community engineers. Now, this is a special live stream because this has been in planning for the last 6 months. And without me, they were meeting together talking about this idea that they had for a special workshop, specifically to do with making a Medium clone. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Yosef and Ali, welcome to the stage.
Hello again. Excited to be here. And yeah, me and Yosef have been speaking for at least 6 months about this idea. You know, we kind of formed it, we ideated it, we got busy, and then we're like, wait, we've got a hackathon together. Let's do it. So really great to be here again as well and to be hosting with Yosef. Hi, Yosef.
Hey, Ali. Yeah, really excited to present with you right here.
And by the way, I have to say that Yosef has done most of the code work here. So massive kudos to him for taking on a lot of the work on the behind the scenes stuff there.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go ahead and get our slides up here and get started.
Sounds good. Thanks for the intro, Phil. And welcome everyone that's joining us here live in the studio. Hi, Moralis crew. Hi, Filecoin people. Hi, hackers in general. Excited to see what builds you've got going and are submitting next week. So super keen to see this. And maybe this is something that will help inspire you, if not for this one, then for another hack as well. So thanks, Phil. I am Ali. I'm a developer advocate for Filecoin. And like Phil said, we had this idea over 6 months ago, and we're finally getting around to doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry. Hi, Yosef. Do you want to introduce yourself as well? Or...
Yes, I like to do that. So, yeah, hey guys, I'm Yosef from Moralis. So, as you guys know, I'm the head of community engineers. And yeah, I'm going to be here presenting how to build Web3 Medium clone with Web3 storage and Moralis. So, yeah, go ahead, Ellie.
Thank you. And I see Yosef all over the Moralis forums. You do an amazing job of, or the Discord, I should say, and the forums. You do an amazing job of helping everyone in the community. So super inspiring. Before we do get started on the actual project, I just wanted to give everyone a bit of a reminder of the why we're here, why we love Web3, why decentralization. So this quote I heard a couple of months ago when I was listening to Juan Benet, who's the founder of Protocol Labs, talk at a peer-to-peer meetup. And it really struck with me at the time because this is exactly why I'm in tech and specifically why I'm in Web3. So it's because of I'm in tech because of just how fundamentally the innovation and technological advancement can change and improve our human lives and how we cooperate and collaborate in society. And you don't have to look back too far to see how that's done. Like, I can't imagine us going through the COVID pandemic without Wi-Fi and the internet. Would have been really hard to get anything done then, or even collaborate on building up a vaccine, controversial or not. But just saying, the technology has really changed the landscape. The problem is with some of the current Web2 landscape, whilst we've had some amazing technology advances, it really has some gosh, I can't get through my words today. It really has some significant flaws, and centralization of data is really one of those flaws. So there's only a few main companies that are offering storage, with some centralized companies having access and rights to our data via our social media or our web profiles. So as we know, if you're not paying, you are the product. So this centralization leads to several issues, and they're both social and engineering issues. So the first one's a resilience engineering challenge. Central models create central points of failure. So if a server goes down, whole services, which we rely on daily, also go down. And I'm pretty sure we've all seen that. So Twitch will go down, or YouTube will go down, or even Twitter will go down, and it can't go down in crypto Twitter. Like, what are we going to do all day? Anyway, so this is a really a resilience engineering challenge. So another problem is the lack of security and ownership of our data. So central models also really create these attack vectors for data harvesting. And this costs individuals in terms of their data being stolen, and also it costs businesses dearly in terms of financial and trust terms. It also poses a censorship and misuse threat. And we've seen plenty of stories around what can happen with large sets of data, and how countries and vested interests can leverage this data to sway voters, to censor people's access to information, or to otherwise create societal mistrust and problems. And we don't need that. We want to come together and build and innovate and do better things for each other. So another big practical issue for users is the inbuilt censorship and lack of portability around their own data. And this is probably one that all of you here it sits in the hearts of all of you here. So central models have the power to decide who is allowed to store content with them, and under what circumstances and how. So, for example, your YouTube channel that you've curated, made, spent many, many hours building, could just be taken down by YouTube. For example, Patreon, which had a fair monetary system, can decide it wants to raise its rates to an astronomical amount, which you can no longer afford. And all of a sudden, your whole business is gone. So centralized models really have problems. So I just want to give a brief intro into how IPFS and Filecoin can help solve some of these. I won't go on too long, but just in case you've been living under a rock for this whole hackathon and haven't seen another live stream, just want to quickly touch on what IPFS and Filecoin are. Won't take too long. So firstly, IPFS, or the Interplanetary File System. And this isn't just a meme name though, because as a distributed peer-to-peer network for files and folders, it was designed to be able to work even when the network is between planets. So if you signed up for Mars and you're now living happily on Mars, maybe it takes you an hour or so to request a file from Earth that you need. But if someone on Mars already has that file, then that person can just serve you that content instantly instead. And it's not just a fancy name for a peer-to-peer network. There's actually real gravity, I'm sorry, I can't help it, bad joke, in what it does, because IPFS is distributed by design, has no central authority servers, and it's designed to be offline first for resilience. And it uses a really unique and upgradable standard for content addressing. So IPFS is unique because rather than using the methods that we're probably familiar with for storing and accessing content, so that's to say location paths that point to particular HTTP addresses on the internet, and where the content there could fairly easily change from day to day. Let's say someone's not paid their cloud bill and all of a sudden that content doesn't exist there, or they've changed out their content that's there, then it's not what you were looking for. So instead of using something that's fairly easy to change, IPFS uses content addressing, which is probably why you'll see those warnings in NFT metadata everywhere to use IPFS as well, because it means that you can be sure when you're accessing that IPFS content ID that you'll receive the exact same piece of content every time. And this is because IPFS uses a cryptographic hash to make a content ID. And this hash is the same length every time, no matter how big the content is. And so if I make an IPFS cryptographic hash of, say, my favorite meme, and then I change 1 pixel of that meme image, it's going to have a different IPFS hash. So the content's ID is immutable. And this is a wild idea because it's such a mind shift away from the Web 2 world. And it's really elegant in its simplicity, because shifting the focus from that location-based address to a content-based ID opens the web up to distributed storage solutions. You don't have to care where this content ID comes from when you know you can verify the content contained in it. So really cool. Anyway, the main thing to understand here is all of this protocol and network logic is what makes IPFS a really important and valuable protocol. And not just for Web3, but also for tech use cases and the web in general, and for anyone that wants to serve or retrieve content on the web, which is everyone. And that's because it enables distribution at scale and it provides that verifiability of data. The problem is with IPFS, it isn't designed to be a permanent storage solution. So because it's IPFS runs on a lot of peer nodes, perhaps you're running a node with your content on it, and why would someone else save your content? Why would they put your content, or why would you want to save someone else's content? Maybe they're your friend and you want to help them out. Maybe you really like that content, so you save it there. But realistically, despite the usually good intentions of a community, less popular pieces of content will stop being hosted and won't be able to be retrieved. Now, that doesn't mean that this IPFS hash is invalid. It's just if no nodes have that on board, you can't retrieve it. So to solve this, before Filecoin was introduced, pinning services sprang up, things like Pinata and Infura pinning services. And you paid these pinning services to keep your data around. Now, the problem with these pinning services, while they're totally fine, is that they're kind of introducing the centralization model again, because what happens if these pinning services go away? Well, again, your content stops being retrievable. So this is where Filecoin really comes in. It is designed to be a decentralized storage system and leverage crypto economic incentive model in order to persist that data and always keep it around. And we've got over 4,000 storage providers globally, making up 1%, which is pretty cool, of the world's current data storage capacity. So it's the biggest decentralized storage network in the world currently. I won't go too much into how Filecoin works, but suffice it to say, it's a distributed storage system where you can make market deals to save your data for as long as you like. So in short, while IPFS and Filecoin are separate projects, they were designed to be complementary. So IPFS, fast, flexible retrieval, and Filecoin for that persistence and verifiably stored data guarantees as well. So one thing to note, though, is that IPFS and Filecoin are kind of in-depth protocols at the base layer. Well, at least Filecoin anyway. IPFS not so much. It's quite easy to use. But this Filecoin protocol can be tricky to use, even for experienced engineers. So for those of you that just want to build out of the box, like us here, there's a bunch of dev tooling options available for you to use instead. So one of these, which we've used in our project, is Web3 storage. And so Web3 storage is designed to give you all the benefits of decentralized storage and IPFS content addressing, but with the frictionless experience you expect in a modern data storage solution. And it's also free to use for up to 1 terabyte and compatible with both JavaScript and Go client libraries. So under the hood, when you save to Web3.storage using the client library or the HTTP API, you're actually getting your content stored as an IPFS immutable CID, And then Web3.storage goes ahead and makes multiple storage deals, 6 actually, for redundancy with Filecoin in order to be perpetually persist this data. So your IPFS CID, your content ID, is available immediately on IPFS, and then it's stored again on Filecoin. And for those with really keen eyes, so you probably can't see it, this is my account in the picture up in the corner there, and I saved my 15-minute walkthrough on IPFS and Filecoin, which I made for Patrick Collins's 32-hour video course to Web3.storage. I've got to keep that stuff safe, right? So anyway, this means that Web3 storage is both immediately available on the IPFS network and persisted to Filecoin, as I mentioned. For those that are doing anything with NFTs, just going to briefly mention another one of our dev tools that works in a similar way to Web3.storage, but is designed specifically for your NFT metadata. And that's NFT.storage. There's heaps of info around on that, and I did a talk on this yesterday if you're interested. And lastly, I want to mention that it's kind of essential that if you're making a decentralized app, a dApp, that you deploy your front end in a decentralized manner as well. Otherwise, you're kind of defeating the purpose of calling it a dApp by putting it on Vercel or Netlify or another kind of Web 2 model. So luckily, there's a decentralized alternative, and it's also free. So it's called Fleek, and it's one of my favorite IPFS dev tools and projects. It's a CI/CD tool that you can use to deploy your apps for free, as simply as easily as any of the CD ones that you might have used before. Now, the big difference is that Fleek uses IPFS to host your site or app. So whatever GitHub code you send to it, it IPFSs it. We're totally going to make that a verb. And it then also makes Filecoin storage deals of that IPFS data. And it then even offers ENS domain routing on their platform too. So this is the Web3 version of Vercel that we all need. And that's it for my intro. I'm going to hand over to Joseph to talk about Moralis 2.0. Thanks, Joseph.
Thanks, Ali. So yeah, let's talk about Moralis 2.0 because this Moralis Filecoin hackathon. So a little bit about background. So when you're building dApp, basically, there's some workflow that you need to do. So you can divide it into 3 steps. So they're creating smart contracts in the beginning, which is on the smart contract layer, and then you can build your own backend to index stuff from the blockchain, fetching data, and etc. And then the third one will be building and connecting everything to the front end so that user can use your application or your smart contract essentially in a more user-friendly way. But the thing is that when you're creating a smart contract and front end, usually it's relatively easy. It's not super easy, but you can find a bunch of tutorials or watch Patrick Collins' 32 hours course to essentially learn everything. But building a backend for indexing the whole blockchain requires a real work. You need to build basically data infrastructure to process the whole blockchain data, indexing historical data, etc. It requires a lot of work, but really it's an essential part of when building a dApp, because when you're building a dApp, suppose you're showing someone's NFT balance or token balance or NFT owners, NFT price, those requires a lot of work, which you don't really see in a lot of dApps, but it's basically essential to most dApps that you build, And however, it requires a lot of work for usually most people to do. So that's where Moralis 2.0 comes in. So we provide an enterprise-grade Web3 API that essentially be used for indexing this data efficiently in just a few lines of code, so that you don't need to spend hours and a lot of people to spend building and maintaining your own infrastructure. And then for Moralis 2.0, the difference between the Moralis 1.0, it's going to be more backend focused. So no more client SDK. Instead, we're just going to offer basically APIs for you to indexing the data. And then with this offering, essentially, because our offering is REST API, you'll be able to integrate Web3 into any tech stack you want. So not just Node.js, you want C Crash for game, C Sharp for game, Python, Django, etc. So why Moralis 2.0? Basically, there's 3 reasons, because first, it's cross-chain. So essentially, you can like fetch multiple blockchain data from multiple blockchain at the same time. It's very easy to do. So we support like multiple EVMs and also non-EVM. So EVM comprised of like Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, uh, Avalanche, Chronos, and Phantom, along with their testnet. Sorry, can you go back? Along with their testnet as well. And for the non-EVM one, we support like Solana chain if that's what you prefer. And the second reason is because like we offer a bunch of integrations. So integrations mean like basically like all the tools that you previously used before, such as like Firebase, like Supabase, and an Azure PlayFab to build games or something that you want. You can basically like leverage up existing technologies to integrate with our technology so that you can build things much faster and much more robust because like you're using existing technologies. And then also, since this is REST API, as I mentioned, this is going to be a framework agnostic. So previously in Moralis 1.0, we offer client SDK, and it made it people. It gives a lot of advantages, of course, but people are also kind of locked up so that like like they need to know JS or some particular language or like Unity, so C sharp. But that also means like they need to know this language, and if they want to like use other frameworks such as like they want to build Web3 games in Unreal, we don't offer C++ SDK, unfortunately. So they sort of need to like move to Unity in order to use us, and that kind of like gives the user basically a lot of inflexibility arrangement for them when developing with Moralis. So yeah. So essentially, our offering comprised of several. So the first one is Auth API. So Auth API, can you click one more time? Oh, okay. So the text seems like not appearing. Okay, just go back. Sorry, a bit technical problem, but there should be a text right there. But essentially, like Auth API. So I'm gonna explain it one by one. But Auth API essentially is API that we offer to help you to integrate any blockchain wallet as previously that you can use to authenticate with this wallet. So previously, like we offer like SDK to connect this, but that's kind of inflexible as well because like you can just like connect with MetaMask and Wallet Connect, and of course like that's like the most famous one. But if you want to like go with other options, then you're kind of stuck with like MetaMask and Wallet Connect. You have no other option to integrate any other wallet. So that's why like we add Auth API right here, and of course it works with like EVM APIs and Solana. uh, and then the next one, we have like Web3 API, which is essentially like something you probably already know because like it's, can you go back one slide before? Yeah, Web3 API, because like it's essentially like something that's offered from previous iterations of Moralis. So it's something that you use very often. So like for indexing blockchain mainly. So fetching NFT, metadata, and then token balance, token price, or any data from marketplaces, you name it, like we index all those data and you can use it in your code with just a few lines of code. You'll be done by using Moralis. Essentially, that's what Web3 API is. And the last one is Stream API. So this one is still in beta, actually. So what's that? So this is essentially like what similar to what we have previously to event syncs, but unfortunately, event sync is kind of like related to what's that, to the Moralis server, and the Moralis server is essentially like something that we're dependent upon in previous iterations of Moralis, but we're going to be removing it as we move forward. Of course, like if you still want to use the server, you should be able to do that by open sourcing it, because like we already have a tutorial as well, a guide on our documentations if you like to. But otherwise, like the Streams API should function the same as event sync. So like syncing events, contract events, historical data, those should be able to do very easily with Streams API. You should be able to request access for it right now, but it's not like something you can use for production. But moving forward, should be available for everyone.
Yeah, I've tried Moralis quite a few times, and it does make it super simple to bootstrap like Web3 dApp, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So show me the project already, everyone's probably saying. Well, you asked and we listened. Here's what we've got. So this is the project. It's our Web3 Medium clone. So we're going to create and share decentralized blog posts, basically. And what also happens is you mint your blog posts as NFTs as well, which you can then see on OpenSea. Pretty cool. Never lose your awesome writings again. So project architecture, the front end is built on React with TypeScript and deployed to Fleek, of course. And the back end is an Express server with Web3.storage API and the Moralis SDK that Joseph just explained. And it's also connected to an ERC 721 smart contract deployed to Polygon, and that's so you can mint your blogs as NFTs. Anything else I've missed saying there, Joseph, about the project architecture?
No, I think that's all about it. Yeah, perfect. I guess we can start looking into like the real demo for this.
Yeah, well, should we have a look at some of the code pieces, like how easy it is to use these aspects, and then have a look at the demo? Or we can do the demo first. Let's do the demo first, and then we'll look at the code piece. All right. Yeah, I like how you roll. Let's do that.
So people can be impressed first, like how does it look like?
I like it. I like how you roll. All right, here's the demo. Let's go. Okay, so I'm just going to disconnect my wallet so everyone can see the entire flow as well. Obviously, been looking at this earlier. So this is actually deployed already to Fleek as well, by the way. So you can navigate and have a look at this for yourself too. I'll just do a refresh there. All right, so I'm going to start by logging into the app. So what happens when I connect my wallet here, Joseph?
So essentially what happened is that like you connect your wallet as usual, and then like the second step will be like where the request for the authentication will be forwarded to the backend, where it will be authenticated using the Moralis Auth API. So you see right here where you sign some messages, and when you sign, basically you're authenticated with Moralis Auth API.
So simple. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so now I'm on the homepage and I'm looking at a bunch of blog posts from all users. So how are these blog posts being fetched?
So essentially they're fetched like really easily using the Moralis NFT API that we offered. So using our API, essentially you can fetch all the NFT that either a user has or basically an NFT that exists within a contract. And this is the one of the use case that is used right here.
So cool. Like, and yeah, just being able to fetch those and index them, like just really makes it super simple. And I've tried the kind of what is going to be the streaming API, I assume. And like, it's just been a godsend for like automatically refreshing things in the past as well. So moving over to the My Blogs tab now. Oh, look, I wrote a blog earlier. How is this being filtered from all the other blogs?
So this is essentially very similar to before, but instead of like fetching all the NFT from a contract, it's going to be filtered by the owner of the contract, which in this case is your address right there. So yeah, Moralis can do that as well.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm super inspired to write another blog post all of a sudden now. Should we write one together? What should we call this? Is anyone who wants to title this blog post? Anyone in the chat got a name for this? And tell us your story. Maybe we'll title it "You Got This." Someone's Web3 Power Filecoin Network. I like it. Let's nice. Call it that. Awesome. If I can spell, we'll get there.
Network.
Yes. Awesome. And
live tutorial. Oops, a
And
typo.
writing decentralized blogs. Oh man, lucky there's a spell checker on this, and I didn't
Yeah,
spell decentralized wrong. Just FYI, Americans.
it's okay.
So Australia and England, we spell it with a S. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and publish this blog. I think it's pretty amazing. Like, I want everyone to read it, and and I want it to be an NFT forever as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and publish this blog. What happens when I click this publish button, Joseph?
So essentially, it's gonna upload the metadata, the data here, into the using Web3 storage to IPFS Filecoin, and using the metadata, it will mint a new NFT for the block itself. So essentially, you will be the one owning the block once you pay the transaction fee of 0.01 Matic right there. But
Gonna
yeah,
confirm that. Let's mint it as an NFT.
once
That,
that's done, it should appear.
that was
But
so quick. Let's see. Nope,
let's see.
not quite.
So
I'll just
hang on
refresh.
a sec because like it takes some time to minting, but
Ah,
usually once it's done, Moralis should index it very, very quickly, like almost instantly.
awesome. So it'd be great to get a PR to put a waiting loader in here from someone, right?
Yeah.
There it is as well. This is awesome. So this is super cool. So I can see my new blog post comes up. What is this little link down here? I'm going to go and click this. What happens with this?
So it will redirect you to the OpenSea to
This
see
is
your
awesome.
NFT.
This is
So
awesome. I love it. So now this is my NFT, my blog post NFT. And obviously another thing that could happen here, a few more PRs to put a picture in of the blog post, or, give the user the option of that. Lots of features you could add to this for sure, but the basics are really amazing and already there. So we have a super cool decentralized version of a blog platform. I can stop worrying about my posts getting taken down or lost. And I wonder, Joseph, what else we could use these kind of same principles and tech, like this Web3 storage for saving files and Moralis SDK to make. So maybe a no-code NFT platform, or a decentralized Reddit, maybe even a decentralized YouTube or YouTube backup. That's been pretty controversial lately.
yeah,
So many
or
things.
like
What do you think?
decentralized Spotify. I mean, I think Spotify, like audios, like they're pretty huge. Was that practice as well, because like the music industry, usually they're famous for like 90%. I mean, like the artists basically just get like 10% of like what's gained from their music. So it's kind of crazy like how much royalty like spent outside of like the artist. So it could
Yeah.
be like a huge use case for that.
Yeah, so Audius is doing a great job of that use case, actually. So they're actually built on IPFS and Filecoin as well, which is really cool, and we know them quite well. So I think live streaming things are happening. I think, decentralized YouTube is a great idea. Decentralizing a lot of these things is a great idea. And I think the one big problem is how do you gain user traction as well? So once you have decentralized it, because I think the tools are getting to a place where you can do that, then how do you grow an audience, and how do you have people come on board with this is something to think about as well, I think, because honestly, the tech is definitely getting there. Even the UI that a lot of people complain about in Web3, I think that's even getting better and better, especially with, Moralis making things so easy on so many fronts there on the back end.
Absolutely.
So let's go. I'm just going to go back to our slides here. So I want to just do a breakdown of some of those things we kind of just mentioned, if that's cool. So the Web3 storage hook in here, I just want to show the code for that and how you would go about getting started. So firstly, just sign up to Web3 storage. I use my GitHub authenticator. I know on the roadmap there is an ability to use a wallet authenticator instead of these Web2 methods. It's just not here yet. So just in case anyone looks at it and goes, well, that's not there is. But anyway, get an API token so you can hover over your account menu to do that. And then add the API key to your .env. Obviously, make sure you never commit that to GitHub. Just, you should say it. Don't commit your keys to GitHub, folks. And if you're using wallets, make sure it's only ever a test wallet, just in case you do accidentally do something like that. Anyway, then all you have to do is get Web3 storage from npm, and then you can import it to your project, and you can create a client. And that's really all there is to getting started with Web3 storage. We did say it was as simple as using Web2 things. So that's the HTTP API, which is actually decentralized because it's an IPFS CID and then a Filecoin storage deal in the background. So I'll just go to the next slide. And here's the hook that, well, it's not really a hook. Here's the backend API that Joseph is using for Web3 storage. The Web3 storage package can either directly go in the front end because it's a HTTP API, or it can be used in a server like it is here. So this is literally all the code you need. Really simple. Const blob equals a new blob of, we're stringifying the JSON object there, giving it a type, which is JSON type, and then you're waiting for the CID. That's it. You're sending this to Web3 storage, and it creates that IPFS immutable CID and makes 6 Filecoin storage deals automatically and perpetually, so forever, and it's free. Pretty awesome. Joseph, did you want to talk through these code things of how the Moralis auth package works?
Yeah, absolutely. So to use Moralis, it's very easy. So essentially, you need to sign up with Moralis in the beginning. If you haven't had an account yet, it should take just like less than 5 minutes. And then once you get into the account, you can fetch the Web3 API, which is like in the photo right there. You can just like copy it. Of course, like it's a sensitive data, so it shouldn't be shown. Similarly, you should put it in your .env instead of like GitHub, because like if people steal it, then essentially they can use your access. And then once you have your API key, then you can install Moralis using npm, which is like one of the SDK, the Node.js SDK that we offer, and then like install it to your stacks. And then once you have it, you put your API key, then you can initialize your SDK using the API key. So previously, you will initialize it using something called the app ID and server URL, which is like directly connected to the Moralis server. In Moralis 2.0, we don't offer, we're not connecting it to server anymore. So it's gonna be just all API key, because like it's basically just fetching API. So once you initialize it, then you can basically just import it and use Moralis within your code. Like right here, for example, an example for using the auth API. So the auth API, as I mentioned, is used to authenticate your wallet on the backend, something like that. So giving sessions fields, such as like what happens in the Web2, but this is using the Web3 standard, which is according to the one of the EIP protocol, which I kind of forgot, unfortunately. But yeah, so kind of sorry. But like,
We can look it up later and put it on a comment on the video for sure.
yeah, it's essentially in the document.
Be able to tell us even. Someone might know the answer to that. Might be able to tell us. We'll see what comes in.
Yeah, but essentially, like how to do it is very easy. So you just need to call moralis.auth.requestMessage to get the message right here that you're gonna sign on the front end. And once you sign it using your wallet later, then you use the hash signature, send it to be verified by the Moralis auth API. And once it's verified, essentially you're logged in, and that's how auth is done using the Moralis auth API.
Really?
And then, yeah, thanks. And the next step is like not the next step, but essentially like another thing that you can do with Moralis is, of course, like indexing from the blockchain, which is a really big thing using the Web3 API, as I mentioned before. And one of the application that we do before in the demo is about fetching the blocks. So in this case, here you can just focus on the moralis.evm.nft.getWallet NFTs, essentially using this API right here, which is like encapsulated within the SDK. You can input some parameters such as the address, which chain, and the token addresses that you want to filter. And then you'll essentially get all the NFT from certain smart contract that a certain owner address own in their wallet. So just one line of code, and it's essentially done. You don't need to spend months to build your infrastructure and etc.
Yeah, it's super easy and super useful, this one. And this is like obviously getting the NFTs and then passing that NFT data to show up on the front end. Is that front end? That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, so project demo. Well, we swapped the order of that one, so we could run.
Oh yeah.
But if you do want to have a look at this code, it's MIT licensed, I believe, Joseph. So anyone can kind of fork this and start making their own features or changing things around, or even just looking at it for an example. Yeah, so really awesome work on building out this Web3 Medium clone as well. So, massive thank you to Joseph on that one. I think maybe we'll take some questions, or I'll leave you with some resources first. This is my first resource. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So, which is what you're all doing here, hacking away. So, really excited. This is why I love hackathons. This is why I love the Web3 community. We're all rolling up our sleeves, getting in and having a go at making something new and making something different and making it better. So I really appreciate that about that. Let me get to the resources first. So don't get mad, get some help. We have a heap of resources. You can go to proto.school to learn more. If you're into NFTs, nftschool.dev is amazing. There's obviously our docs site and our YouTube site, which has a heap of things on it. And obviously we have hackathons running all the time, including this amazing one with Moralis, which I've been so excited about so long now. And you can go to our hackathons.filecoin.io website to see past projects that have been made at some of our hackathons, some of the past events we've been in, any of our future events. And generally, if you make a really cool project at a hackathon, we will reach out with an offer of, signing up for our micro grants program. So you will get a bit of money to keep building out your project if you're really passionate about your idea, and we can see that you want to kind of try and see if you can build this out into something bigger and maybe become a founder. If that's your thing, if not, that's totally fine. But that is available to you. And then we also have accelerators programs after that. So lots of resources and help. We want you to succeed as builders. We want to see more decentralized things in the ecosystem. So this is another way to get involved. And I've already kind of spoken about the hackathons page, so we'll just reiterate that again. And otherwise, I think...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Anyway, otherwise, I think we can take questions. If there's any questions, I think Alexander actually has a question here. So he's asking, is it okay to save your files this way? Const file equals new file image user.address. There shouldn't be an issue with that, I don't imagine. I think, is this specifically directed at web3.storage? I think it is.
Yeah, I think I remember this is, and I don't think there should be a problem. Haven't tried with just regular one, but I know the user address, the parameters for that is essentially be used for the file name, usually IPFS, then / the CID, then / something else.
Yep.
That's where the user address is gonna come in. I don't know if it will affect it if we don't use .json or .something, because usually that's what we do. But yeah,
you could save that as part of your JSON file if what the intention here is to try and save these, be able to pass addresses out of each of these web3.storage saved items. Then you could definitely save that as part of your JSON format as well. I think that is the ultimate aim. If you do want more help on web3.storage, though, you can sign up to our Slack project. It's filecoinproject.slack. You can get to it from the footer of all our docs. And we have a Web3 storage specific channel in there, and the team does answer questions in there. So if you've got anything specifically you want to ask about that, or anything really advanced you want to ask about it, definitely try out the Web3 storage channel there. But their docs on their website are also really good too. So check those out first before maybe asking. But yeah, otherwise, I think anything else to add from your side, Joseph?
So just want to mention as well, because it seems like some of my slides there. So I actually add a Moralis resource slide as well. It doesn't appear somehow. So yeah, feel free everyone, if you want any help if you're building with Moralis, of course, using the hackathon, then go to the Discord forum. I believe most of you are already there, but check it out. And if you need more help on documentation, check out our documentation, which is docs.moralis.io right there. So that's all.
Yeah, sorry about that. I must have needed to refresh these slides beforehand because we've missed a few of yours, actually.
Maybe it's fine.
Well, it was an excellent workshop, guys. Really, really good stuff. And I just wanted to add, if you're joining us here today, we are broadcasting for the very first time on a new YouTube channel called Moralis Web3 Community. Now, we're also broadcasting to the Moralis Web3 channel at the same time today as we transition over. But in future events, we're going to be broadcasting to that new channel in order to provide a single space for hackathon stuff. Now, closing opening ceremonies, those are going to be on both channels. So don't feel like you're going to need to search for stuff. It's just to help keep all of our hackathon workshops organized for when people are looking for those. So good news on that front. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the Discord. Also, we do not have an officially scheduled GatherTown meetup, but if anybody wants to meet in GatherTown and discuss the workshop that we just saw or anything else, the link is in the description below. So go ahead and click that, and we'll look forward to seeing some of you there.
There's just a quick question here, I think, that maybe we can tackle a little bit too, Phil. So SF is asking how to get a job in Web3 as a software dev in Web2. And look, I think this is a really common question. I think we can probably answer a little bit of this. I think you're doing the right thing already. You're getting involved in hackathons. You're learning about the technology. You're starting to build your portfolio, hopefully, on GitHub. And then you can pretty much, like, one of the best ways to get a job in Web3 is to do that, build your portfolio, understand the tech, understand the whys. And then the second way is to network with people. Like, we're all pretty approachable in Web3. This is a really helpful community. So get involved in that and then just start applying for jobs. I know, for example, Protocol Labs has a jobs board. It's jobs.protocol.ai/jobs. or jobs.protocol.ai. So you can have a look at job boards all over the place and put your resume in, because Web 2 skills, and most of them really do translate over to Web 3. It's pretty much most fields, I would say, translate over to Web 3 or can bring something new to Web 3. So that's also really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're a front-end developer, you're going to find that a lot of front-end development hasn't really changed all that much. You're still using CSS. You're still using the same HTML5 that you're familiar with. Where you may see some differences is when you're linking things on the back end. Rather than referring to a central database or something that you run, you might be talking to the blockchain. Or better yet, you might be using Moralis to talk to the blockchain for you in order to eliminate steps along the way and make your development easier. But I'll be bold here to say that Moralis is designed just for you. For people who know Web 2 and want to get into Web 3, that's what Moralis is for. So I encourage you to not only try it out, but reach out to us and let us know if you're getting stuck anywhere, because we're going to help you, and we want you to become a Web 3 developer. And so we can join you in that journey.
And you don't just have to be a front-end developer. I'm just going to add to that, but you're 100% correct, Phil. But I think anyone with kind of an engineering mindset or a theoretical mindset can kind of really break down what's going on in Web3. And the thing is, you're playing with a lot of base level protocols in Web3. If you get beyond kind of just making dApps and want to go really deeper. And I think most of those enterprise skills, or anything you've learned at a big corporate or any engineering, either software or mechanical kind of engineering backgrounds, scientific minds will really help you learn that. So what I'm trying to say here, I guess, is being able to self-learn, which you're already doing by being here today, is a skill that will take you a long way as well.
Also, just want to add a little bit, but I think Phil also mentioned about front end, but yeah, it doesn't have to be front end. I think from Moralis, you can contribute something like Web3 UI kit on the front end because it's open source, but essentially on the broader Web3 industry, most codes are gonna be open source, like smart contracts, sometimes even front end. So like if you want to find a job, sometimes like it's kind of hard to apply for a job. Honestly, maybe just from my experience, like formal application, something like that. But usually, like if you can demonstrate that you can help the people that are working in the protocol through this open source software, making contribution, PRs, and etc. Then eventually you can build your reputation, and maybe get recruited indirectly like that. Or maybe someone else, then you can build your own portfolio and then show it to others, like, hey, I'm a huge contributor to this DAO or something like that. That's
Yeah.
another, I think.
Oh my
that
God,
should-
I can't believe I left that out, but that is like literally the number one thing to do. Everything's open source. Go and contribute to some projects that you love. Join a DAO. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And it's
Thanks.
a big advantage. It's a big advantage as well in Web3, because like in Web2, most things are closed source, which doesn't give you too much advantage. And also the thing is that Web3 is, I think, like still pretty early. Most people, believe it or not, are not like the best people that come to dev. So like if you're really good from Web2 and then move to Web3, people could like, and you can demonstrate it, of course, like people will definitely like value a lot and a lot. So yeah.
We went on a long tangent there, but I think it was a really useful one. So
No, absolutely. Really good points. And if you're looking to get into smart contract development and messing with some deeper Web3 and blockchain things, take a look at our workshop video with Patrick from Chainlink. In that video, we go over a series of different, basically boiled down smart contracts that give you just the necessary lines of code in order to execute the process that you're looking for. So it'll be things like Uniswap v1 AMM and lending boilerplate, things like that. So if you're looking to go that deep right off the bat, start with those, because they're going to be some of the shorter and more efficient smart contracts to review.
yeah, gotta love that guy. God, he's doing a lot for the space, isn't he? For teaching everybody the space. Thanks, Patrick. Shout out.
And also, I should mention our own Moralis Academy. If you'd like, and this is for anybody who might be tuning in and you've never coded a line before. If you want to go from zero to Web3 developer, that's exactly what we do at the Moralis Academy. So check that out as well.
Yeah, because Moralis started as an educator, right? And here you are providing all the infrastructure needs that has come out of trying to educate people on this and seeing the pain points. So it's pretty awesome.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, we do have time for maybe one more question if anybody has one here in the chat. Otherwise, we can always meet with you guys in Discord or in GatherTown later on.
I think there's one thing, there's kind of one random thing here that says NASA plus Filecoin. And I think what they mean by that is that we are literally sending an IPFS node and Filecoin node to the moon. So
Really?
that is a thing. It's actually happening. So we really will be able to call ourselves not really interplanetary because it's the moon. Close enough to interplanetary file service after that. And you can go and check out, there's blog posts around about that one as well. So thanks for the little reminder there, Maz.
Real interplanetary.
We've got one more question here, and I'm going to hand this one to Yosef to kind of finish us out. What services does Moralis provide? Now, we talked about this a bit during the live stream, but a quick recap on the most important core services would be a great way to close out the stream today, I think. And there we are. The EVM API, Solana API, NFT API, authentication, and streams API. Now, if you'd like more details on that, we do have complete documentation on all of our products and also 24-hour support in our Discord. So we'd love to talk with you more about that, find out how Moralis can suit your needs and aid in your Web3 development journey. On that note, everybody have a wonderful day. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. And goodbye for now.
Thanks all. Bye.
Thanks.